Good morning, everyone. These are the trading ideas for the week. So I curate this list looking at a number of conditions for stocks that have a good chance of working for a swing or a position trade over the current or the next couple of weeks. You should be able to hold these trades for more than a week in most circumstances, and you can trade this using these stocks themselves or using stocks or options on them or a combination of both. So various strategies are possible. I am here simply sharing the ideas based on a fairly rigorous scan among 11,000 stocks that I'm scanning. And this week, it has turned up only about 20 new bullish ideas. Remember, these are on weekly scale. So these are not meant for a day trade, but they're ideally meant for a swing to position trade. So let's dive in and if we look at the ideas for this week, keep in mind the before we get into the ideas themselves, some guide rules. The entry for these stocks and all the stocks on the list as at a breakout of the previous week's high. As long as the previous week's high is not broken, you are not entering the trade ideas on a bullish side. Stop loss is at the previous week's low. I personally add about 1.5 times of the 14 weeks or 10 weeks ADR for extra cushion, but you can do this as per your risk tolerance. Position size, as per the size of your account, I usually would use 1% of my account for each trade, and that's basically the difference between the entry price and stop loss, and divided by my account size, and that should not exceed 1%. Ideally, I would try to spread across tickers and sectors so that and try to find some stocks in the list that are not so correlated to each other so that I don't have like a series of stop loss at the same time if a particular sector reverses for any reason whatsoever. Always keep in mind that big event or announcements, CPI, inflation, Fed, or debt ceiling currently, war, all those stuff can cause a significant direction change in the market, and those are sort of the unknowns. And we at that point of time, it's possible that you have a number of positions going into losses, mark to market or hitting the stop loss. And if you plan this portfolio carefully from this list of tickers that I'm providing, you should be able to hold the positions without much panic, or at the least execute your plan and have only the stop loss that your account size allows. So this is a trade idea on AMD, a very well-known stock. So I'm going to enter at the break of 92.30. I will try to have a target one at about the 108.65, which is essentially the 2.5 standard deviation 20 average 20 bar Bollinger Band. You can use other ideas for your target. This is what I use for these trades, and then I will try to trail a stop at about 1.5 times of ATR below till my stop loss is broken. So that's how I mostly trade this. And the ideas that are there for this week are 20 exactly. As you see, these are spread across technology, services, healthcare, energy, and more healthcare and consumer non-cyclical. Looking at the sectors also gives you some idea about where most of the market action is coming from and what is sort of relatively outperforming the S&P. As you can very clearly see, healthcare, technology, and services are outperforming the S&P. There are very few from other sectors, and that's what I kind of see right now. So these are the ideas for the week. As you note from the extreme right column, I only use liquid tickers, and all of them will ideally have options. So you should be able to trade them using combination of stocks, options, and purely option strategies as well. If you are doing purely option strategies, do look at the implied volatility before executing any strategy and plan your ideas. Now, from next week, I'll be bringing this slide up front, but here the idea of showing this is that particular kind of trade setups, let's say we are looking at bullish setups now, they will work better if they're aligned with market regime. And if the market regime is bearish and if you're trying to execute a lot of bullish trades, well, the common sense dictates that you're not going to have much success. So I use the SQN analysis that was kind of published by Van Thorp. You can read it on his blog online. And I use SQN to determine the current market regime. This is not a forward-looking tool, but the current regime as is. And currently, the regime is bull quiet to sideways. So I expect larger upside reversal days, smaller downside days, supports to be held, and so on and so forth. So right now I'm going to trade sideways to bullish, and those are the trade ideas I'm going to focus on. And at this point of time, I will not expect a big downside unless the market kind of shows its hand. As you see, when we had the bear market, this regime indicator did flip bearish and stayed there till it reversed, and now it's in the bullish to sideways regime. We have had the post-COVID bull market. You can very clearly see it here. The blues are the volatile bull markets, meaning fairly aggressive bull markets. Typically, those end with a slight bit of a drawdown after a sort of a climax kind of a high, which you can see before the bullish thing as well. So that's all for this week, and we'll happy trading. And I'll be back with more ideas next week, and we'll recap the ideas that are here. Thank you very much, and have a great week.